Hello, welcome to the demo of Group 37. We are here to discuss about whun. Whun is an application created to find solutions of a high-dimensional search-based software engineering problem using an oracle or user preference. In this case, our problem is surrounding the decision-making process in a Scrum model. So what are we trying to solve here? As we know that in large product lines, the decision-making process is very difficult because of the amount of constraints. There are existing interactive search-based software engineering algorithms that solve this problem. However, they ask way too many questions and are very exhaustive. whun tries to solve this problem by minimizing the number of questions being asked. In the last two iterations, we did a study of the research work, we modularized the code, we refactored and updated the styling and formatting of the code. We implemented a package wherein whun could directly be imported and run as a Python package. We did unit testing and code coverage, and we were able to reach a code coverage of 85%. We also did the Travis integration for the CI pipeline. In these two iterations, we used user preference using Oracle, which was basically a random user preference selection algorithm, which used to randomly select preferences without any user interference. Now, in the third iteration of this software, we have replaced the Oracle with a user. So, an actual user would be choosing the preference instead of a random number generator. As we can see on the screen, whun takes this file as input. This file basically is a binary CSV which has 10,000 rows and 124 columns. The 124 columns represent the different features of the Scrum model. Now, what are these features? These features are like something like whether a 2 week sprint is required, whether 3 software developers are required, or such constraints or similar constraints. So, one may basically means that the feature is selected, and 0 means the feature is not selected. So these are all the possible solutions for the CNF problem of the Scrum model. Now, once we feed this to whun and we try to run whun, we would see a set of questions being asked to the user. So let's run it. And so on the screen currently we can see there are two options, option A and option B. Option A lists some of the questions and option B lists some of the questions, and user, based on his preference and the current circumstance of the problem, needs to make a choice. So suppose he selects option A, then option B, option B, option A, and option B. So you can see the number of solutions come up on the screen, and the number of questions that were asked were only 5. So we have minimized the number of questions, and we are able to provide a set of solution to the problem.
So got any issues with whun? You can simply go and open this Google form and you can fill your details like name, email ID, summary of the issue description, severity and all those things, and you can simply submit your issue request. Now what will happen, we have integrated this Google form and Zapier with our Jira board. So once we have submitted the form, and story will be created on the Jira board. So let me go to my Jira board. So I will go to backlogs. In backlog, we can see the sample issue for demo has been created. We will, once this issue is created, we will review and we will move it to the active sprint and start working on it. Want to know more about whun? We have created a readme.md. Here you can find a lot of things about whun. So we have about whun, it describes what whun is trying to solve. We have created a short video, then discusses about whun algorithm. Then there is a small flow chart. Then we are maintaining a current progress bar which tells us what we are currently doing. Then future work on whun. Then we have a developer guide, how to install and how to run static analysis and get the report. Then setting up the environment locally. Then code formatter, how we are doing unit testing. Then GUI for human interaction, potential users, and this is the timeline, and these are the contributors. And we are, whatever feature we are doing, we are tracking it on Jira board. You can go through it. Then we have maintained what release contains what releases what changes.
Okay. Now, in order to comply with the rubric, we made sure that we had covered all the requirements that were required for the assessment. So we have our Travis integration, wherein we can see our code coverage and the test cases that have passed, and the coverage, file-wise coverage. So for all the helper classes, we had written test cases, and we can see the coverage here, which sums up to 85%. We can also see the coverage on covals, which is the extension that we are using to report the final code coverage. So for all the issues, we use the Jira board. And here, if we click on any Jira, then we can see the comments added. Before closing the story, we discuss amongst ourselves on Teams, and then we go ahead and close the story. We are also following trunk-based development, and everyone merges to the same main branch. In our case, it's feature SE 2021 branch. And everyone commits to the same branch, and we make sure that we discuss before committing, so that there are less of merge conflicts. Yeah, so that's about whun. Thank you.